What's down, people, and welcome back to another episode of Ghetto Gospel. So where we left off at. Last week, we talked about what a blessing is. We also talked about how the way we think about sex and relationships is way different than people in other parts of the world, and especially at other points in history. The last thing we talked about was Jacob stealing that blessing from Esau, and how Isaac playing favorites with Esau over Jacob meant that once Jacob stole that blessing, it wasn't nothing left over to give to Esau. And now we caught up. So the first thing it say in chapter 28 is that Isaac called Jacob in and blessed him like, look here, bruh, don't marry none of these local women around here. Go to your mama's hometown and marry one of your Uncle Laban's daughters. Alright? Now God gonna bless you and give you buku kids, so y'all grow into a whole little tribe on y'all own. And he gonna give you the blessings of Abraham so that you end up owning whatever land you step on, the land God gave to him. And I'm guessing that folks probably had an attitude of, once you done said something, you can't take it back, because this the second time that Isaac blessing Jacob, which is essentially him just saying the same thing he said before, but without him being tricked into doing it. So Jacob listened to his pops, bounced, and headed out to where he told him to go. And one of the things I think about when they say that is that a lot of folks probably think Jacob was a bad son to Isaac, or that Esau was a bad son to Rebekah, but it don't say that. It just say Isaac loved Esau and Rebekah loved Jacob. But you can see right here in verse 7 that Jacob listened when Isaac told him not to marry none of them local women and to head out and stay with his uncle. We don't know for sure if Isaac told Esau not to marry none of them local women, or if he realized it was a good idea after Esau's wives started making life miserable for him and Rebekah. So around the time Jacob listened to his pops and bounced was when it clicked to Esau that his pops ain't approve of them local women. So he found one of his first cousins from his uncle Ishmael and married her, and now he had 3 wives, which I don't think was the idea his pops had in mind. So then the story pivot and start following Jacob when he headed out to Haran to go see his uncle. Along the way, he came to this spot and decided to spend the night because the sun went down. So this man picked up a rock to use as a pillow and laid down. While he was sleeping, he dreamed about a stairway that went from the ground all the way up to the sky, and angels was going up and down on it. That almost sounds like a song title off the 3 Stacks album. And the Lord was standing next to him like, you know who it is? I'm the God of your father Abraham and Isaac. I'm gonna give you and all your children the land you laying on. They're gonna be like the dust of the earth, spreading out all over. West, east, north, south, and everybody on earth gonna be blessed through you and your people. Now I'm with you wherever you go, and I'm gonna bring you right back to this land, and I ain't gonna leave you until I do what I said I'm gonna do. So Jacob woke up like, God showing up in this place, and I ain't even know it. This place awesome. And let's be clear, that ain't awesome like everything is awesome. It's more like this kind of awesome.
Mike, what do you think? Are you crazy? I think I am.
God.
And then he was like, this the house of God. Ain't no way it can't be. It's the gate to heaven. So early in the morning, he took the rock he was sleeping on and set it up like a marker and poured oil on it. And he named that spot Bethel, which means house of God. And then it tell you that the city used to be named Luz. And when it tell you that, it's letting you know that this how that spot got the name Bethel. So then Jacob was like, if God stick with me and take care of me, if he make sure I got food and clothes, and I come back to my pops' family safe, then he'll be my God. And this rock I set up to be a marker, gonna be God's house. And I'm gonna give God 10% of everything he give me. And I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. He called this spot the house of God and heard God promise him all of this stuff with no conditions. But he gonna say the only way he gonna give God his is if he do this and that. And then he top it off saying that he recognized that God the one that give him everything, but that he gonna wait for God to do something for him before he do something for God. I guess that's people for you. But also, I guess I could kind of understand that. Basically, he's saying that he ain't gonna believe that God is God, or he ain't gonna worship him like God until he followed through with what he said he gonna do. And I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, but God don't seem to feel no kind of way about that. It's almost like God ain't got no problem with folks holding him accountable to the stuff he said he gonna do, because he God and he could do it. Problem is, a lot of folks just don't know what God said. And we eventually gonna see that even though Jacob out here trying to negotiate with God like he did with his brother, God still gonna keep his promises regardless. But Jacob gonna learn something in the process. All that messing over his brother gonna come right back to him. So that's it for this week. If you don't know Jesus, but you trying to get to know him, go and click that first link in the description down there. I'll see y'all next week, and as always, peace, and I hope y'all people straight.